Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Pixel Squirts, that show on the internet where we talk about porn that is about video games, and it usually gets pretty gay. I'm Laura, I'm here as ever hosting with my lovely, wonderful co-hosts, Mari and Stacey. Hello!
Hello!
I'm Mari.
I'm Stacey.
We're all here to talk about some porn.
I forgot to say this before we started recording. So a few people sent me messages about lesbian scissoring, and some people felt really invalidated for their sex. So I'll just say I apologize for saying that scissoring is hetero, and lots of people have sex in different ways, and I am sorry. I forgot to bring it up before we started recording. I just remembered.
That is a really good point. Like, just because we don't personally find it a sexy thing, or we often see it in a certain lens, doesn't mean that that's the case for everyone, and whatever works for you sex-wise, you go you.
So I'll clarify, I think, what the intention was when we were talking about it, is that scissoring... it's not that no lesbians scissor, it's more that scissoring is pleasing from, like, a hetero male point of view to see in lesbian porn. Do you know what I mean?
It's aesthetically pleasing from an outside perspective, and it's something that, while for some people it definitely does work, it appears in lesbian porn a lot more often than its appearances in the outside world, as best I understand it. It feels like it's something that's not super common in lesbian sex, but that comes up all the fucking time in porn.
Yeah.
And
that there is a weird distinction there.
Do whatever feels good and whatever you want to do. It's fun. Do it. Yeah. And also, we are not the end-all, be-all on what sex is. In fact, we're probably the worst people to ask because we're weirdos. So...
Yeah, we can only talk about our own weird, probably kind of fucked up views on sex.
Yeah, and we've said that before, that, like, we don't pretend that our views are facts on this podcast. They're merely just our opinions, so...
And we will always, like, if someone brings up, like, hey, this is a thing that you said that we, have a different perspective on, we will always acknowledge that and take it on, because this is a learning experience for us. None of us have ever podcasted about porn before that I'm aware of.
Yep, and I would just like to say thank you for all the people who did reach out, because I know that's a really anxiety-provoking thing to say. Hey, my experience as a sexual being is different than you, and you're always worried that, like, oh, what if they disagree or they yell at me? It's okay to reach out and be like, hey, this is my sexual experience, and I feel like you invalidated it.
I think it's more than okay. It's encouraged, and we super appreciate it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, with that said, should we jump into our porn topic of the week?
Yay!
Overwatch!
We're doing Overwatch porn this week.
And before anybody gets excited, we did not do Oversnatch. We're watching free porn on Pornhub.
Yep.
So
what is Oversnatch?
It is one that's on Brazzers, is it?
Yes.
Oh, I'm not paying for that.
Yeah. So we're sticking to stuff that's on Pornhub because Pornhub stuff seems to be the most readily accessible by the most people in the most places.
Yeah. So that, like, if other people want to watch along, they can do that.
We wanted to have as few barriers as possible to watching along with us if you wish. So, we have... Also, you know what I'm most excited about this Overwatch week? This is the first time we've got actual live-action porn happening.
I know!
Oh, yeah!
I didn't realise that we've not done anything live-action before this week, so...
Are you talking about Overwatch Diva's hardcore video?
Oh, well, there's that, but there's also the one with the... There's also the one with the farting.
Oh! I found multiple fart videos that I shared with you guys.
You got so excited about the fart videos. There was a string of Twitter DMs that was literally just you in all caps being like, we have to do the fart video. I linked to fart video. We have to do it. I won't let us not do the fart video.
There's two of them, and they're like...
Do we want to start with your fart videos then? Is that a good place
for us to start? We'll start with the fart videos. Which one? Do you want to do the live action one or the animated one?
I'm gonna suggest we start with the animated one, because I think that's the one you got most excited about. At least in
because
that chat.
It takes more effort to do all of the animation, so somebody legit.
Oh.
Like, all right, I get it.
I
like, farting is a fetish.
Okay, can I just say, I was more impressed by the live action one by
so
the fact that you had
like,
to do
by
all the
miles.
farts. But we'll get there. So this first one is called Tracer face-sitting fart animation.
Wait, the live action one I think was cut in with audio from cake farts. That's why.
Well,
there was so much farting.
That's disappointing, but we'll get to that one. Tracer face-sitting fart animation. We open on a shot of Tracer, very discomforted by how much she needs to fart, having a very
you can hear the
gurgly stomach. So I'm just going to acknowledge off the start, fart porn is not my thing, but like I have a newfound respect having watched this and being like, oh, okay, no, I could see what they were going for and what were probably the arousing elements of it, even if it's not for me.
I'm sorry if this is somebody's real fetish, but it's so funny to me.
Deconstructing stuff slightly and trying to look at it from a perspective of this isn't my thing, but I'm trying to understand it. I can understand how that first shot is building up anticipation.
I know, because she looks at her on the bed, and she kind of has this look on her face like, hee, here I go.
Sort of like, it's like, oh, this thing is happening. Oh, what am I gonna do about it? It is a very succinct, like, this is our setup.
We should explain that. Okay, so Tracer, she's having a gurgling stomach. She looks at Diva, who is asleep on the bed. And then Tracer, silently and carefully, crouches over Diva, backwards cowgirl style, so her butt is right up in Diva's open mouth. And this is an animation, it's not live action. And then she just starts farting all over Diva's face, and Diva wakes up,
and then she pushes her butt into her face.
Yeah, and Diva doesn't struggle, so I assume this is okay.
There's just like half a second of what sounds like muffled scream, and then it very quickly is just like deep inhale through the nose.
Maybe she's dying.
I took it less that she's dying. I think it was more like, oh, a shock moment of, wait, why is there something over my mouth? And then very quickly like, oh, it's a farting butt.
It's a farting butt. I like it.
Indeed, it is a farting butt. This is all good.
And then we get like camera pans around and up to the butt so we can get like different angles on the farting. Although it is disappointing that she's still, like, she's wearing her outfit, so we don't actually see.
Well, but then I would be worried, like, poop particles are going. So with the outfit, I feel more safe because it's cleaner. Like, you're still getting the fart, but I don't have to think about the poop particles getting in my mouth.
I'm asking this as a legitimate question. I don't know if maybe, like, there being something between you and the fart lessens the experience. And
I would think it would.
I imagine so. If you like getting farted on, let us know, because I genuinely am, like, in my head, that seems like it would be a barrier to enjoyment.
Yeah.
Like, for me personally, I'd be glad for the costume being there, but I imagine for a lot of people that wouldn't be the case.
I mean, wouldn't you kind of like, you want to see it, right?
You want to see the butthole farting? Oh, like in cake farts?
Yeah.
You guys know what, in case you guys don't know what cake farts is, just Google it. Watch the video. Lose your mind.
It's a Canadian woman, I think, who sits on a cake and farts and talks about how her favourite farts are cake farts, and it's glorious. My favorite farts are cake farts.
Oh my god, it's so amazing. And then you can see her butthole expanding every time she farts. And it's the funniest thing in the whole world.
I'm glad I'm not the only one here who's watched a butthole fart with cake on it.
There's the butthole just expands.
So, I did just want to say, like, criticisms of some of the animations, the climbing animation when Tracer is trying to climb over Sleeping Diva to get into position is very awkward. Like,
it's a bit floaty.
Yeah, I appreciate at least that they had it there because, like, it did convey she's trying very carefully to get into position without waking her, but it was clumsy in its execution. But yeah, no, Diva wakes up with a confused sniff. We do eventually get, like, a change of angle, but most of it is just, here's one angle, gonna keep farting on your face, and then it just kind of stops without any real conclusion.
I feel like a lot of these very specific fetish animations, like the one we saw with Chloe being eaten by Max, or, you know, farting on a face, there's already, like, a cut down on who's into this specific fetish, and then there's people who have the talent to do it, so then, you know, the possibilities of getting a good long animation surrounded by a fart is reduced. Is that, like, I'm into farts, I'm into Overwatch, and I know how to use the source program to get the farts.
You're not talking about you're talking about...
Yeah, I did initially think that was you describing specifically yourself.
Me. Yeah. I'm into farts. Guys, I need to tell you something. I wanted you guys to watch the fart porn.
I will save up my farts for whenever I finally meet you.
This is a safe space.
No, I'm not actually into farts, and I don't know how to use Source Movie Maker, so I'm okay.
Well, I think there's even more than that, because you also have to be into the very specific pairing that is here.
Yeah.
Like, I like this pairing, and I like farts, and I know how Source Filmmaker works. You've got to have a lot of overlapping areas for this video to exist, and... like, if this is ticking all of your boxes, if you are into Tracer Diva and Source Filmmaker animated porn and fart videos, I am very, very happy for you that something that is so specifically your thing exists, because that's got to be an amazing feeling.
Yeah, if that's what you're into and you find that video, that must get you off hardcore.
Yeah.
Like,
Did we have anything else to say about the animated version before we move on to the live action one?
No, I don't think so.
For the live action one, where is everybody getting these? And by everybody, I mean all the Diva live action porns I watched that I didn't even link to you guys. They all seem to have this, like, suit that is like a Diva suit, and it's, like, very accurate.
They sell it.
Oh, yeah, no, you can just get that on eBay or Amazon.
Yeah.
It's just, like, a thing you can buy. They have them for most of the Overwatch characters, like, there's a Tracer one, and it's basically just, like, it's just a generic Lycra suit that on a few of these videos they've cut the crotch off of.
Oh,
which is genius, by the way.
Yeah, it is. It's genius. Because now you can... I feel like you can still feel naked without being naked, and then you get to wear the...
It's kind. I do have to say, like, those suits being used for sex purposes is kind of sexy.
Yeah.
But the
I'm
live
gonna be
action,
honest, it kind of makes me want to get one.
It is kind of tempting. The live action Overwatch farting video we're talking about is D.VA, which I think there's an additional dot when you actually spell diva, so it's D-ver.
Somebody was so exciting about uploading, they didn't
Did they miss it? Yeah, they may have missed a dot, but D.VA, diva, farting, brackets, edit, brackets, Overwatch.
And she's got the headphones on with the little spikes and...
The live action woman has a pretty good diva outfit. I'm really disappointed.
And she's got the wig and everything too.
Yeah, I was excited to talk about this until you mentioned the fact that this is not actually the sound of her farting.
Well, I think so, because it says edit, and I recognize the fart sounds as fake farts.
Okay, you say you're not into fart videos, you recognize a specific fart. So
yeah.
I know that fart. I know that sphincter.
Okay, here's the thing, though, is that I know for a fact that she's watched it, like, at least 10 times, because she's made me watch it several times at her house.
Because it's so funny.
So, I didn't twig.
Is it funny, Mari? Or is it something that you just enjoy?
So, here's my point. Until you mentioned that, I hadn't twigged that was an edited-in fart. I assumed the edit, it was just because, like, the footage looped a bit and there were some cuts in the footage.
Maybe I'm right.
I assumed these were all her actually farting, and
clipped the farts together.
Yeah, and I had some respect for the video just on the basis of that's an impressive number of farts to do while also twerking.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong.
To twerk and then fart mid-twerk is not an easy thing to do. I am impressed. And now I have slightly less amazement for this work of creation if they're dubbed in farts.
I do appreciate that, she's clearly tapping into a market of people that want to see a diva cosplay and want to see a diva cosplay, like, fart. And
Whoa. Guys,
what?
I'm looking at the comments of this video.
Okay.
Dirty Ass 12 says, "Sorry, man, this is fake. I can tell because she's moving her ass and the farts would sound different. I've seen plenty of twerking farts, and I've had them happen in person, but it still looks good."
That's amazing.
Dirty Ass 12.
I'm glad we have the specialists in the comments that can clear these things up for us.
They've had it happen in
right,
person.
though. Because if the ass cheeks are, flapping around, I like that this person clarified, like, I've seen them I've had them given to me in person. I'm an expert.
Yeah.
So,
that's
like,
good,
if she was clapping her farts, it would be more like like that, right?
Yeah.
Later in my bedroom, I'm going to fart while twerking to see what it sounds like.
Yeah, no,
I'll let you guys know.
I hadn't thought about the mechanics of how does a twerk alter the sound of a fart. But, okay, so, like, I must say, like, taking the farting element aside for a second, I liked the angles and the butt shaking that were going on very much. So
Yeah.
there's basically two key angles. There's her on the floor, and there's her against the wall, and that's her two sort of, twerk positions. What did you think of the grunting sounds that occurred around the farts? That's the sentence I just said.
I do like that commenter also took care to say, like, I still like it. Like,
yeah.
The positivity there of this is still good. Because, I mean, she does have really nice butt jiggle.
And I like the fact that, like, I like that they didn't just have these farts happen in a vacuum, that they tried to have some additional sound design to be like, no, there's some effort that's required in a twerk fart. So someone put some thought into this.
There's people out there just desperate for the content they want, which is Overwatch fart porn.
It makes me wonder if you were an amateur or even like a professional porn person and you knew that people wanted like Overwatch porn, maybe people do requests.
Yeah, maybe.
Like maybe people say like, oh, could you do diva farting, or oh, could you do like Tracer doing this? I mean, we don't know. She could have an entire online business set up around
much like Diva's hardcore video, where it was like, who I assume player of the game Princess Burple as Diva, but then she also has D.Va, so maybe Diva.
I think that's what it is, you guys.
For some reason, I thought there was a period between the V and the A. I thought it was D.V.A. And I might well be wrong.
All right, we've been shown that the people who make this porn know more about video games than us. Yeah, and we're idiots.
Us fake gamers, God.
Yeah, it's just D.Va.
Okay, well, there we go.
It's okay. I originally thought she was 16 because that's the age that she joins. Like,
yeah, no, we had to have a discussion of like what are the canon ages of the Overwatch characters.
Yeah, because you guys like posted those videos and I was like, oh no.
I was like, no, I'm pretty sure that all the Overwatch characters as they appear in the game are 18 plus at that time.
Yeah, I mean they would have to do that. I would think. Like, you gotta know people are gonna be pervs.
As we move on to the next live action Overwatch one, I hope it seemed like a good segue.
Before we move on, I do have one last thing I want to say. It ends with a bunch of slides of standard pictures of this cosplayer that aren't in fart poses with fart sounds imposed over. And like I don't know what to make of that.
Maybe they just like they want to know that farting like the farting, but seeing her, there's got to be some sort of like auditory thing. I don't know.
My assumption was it was something that was sexually interesting of the contradiction. That's not quite the word I'm looking for, but
like
the
where she's really cute
juxtaposition.
But she farts?
Yeah, it's the juxtaposition, I suppose, of here is a cute innocent pose that's nothing to do with farting and a fart, and there is a juxtaposition there that might be sexy. Maybe that's what's going on. That's me having a guess.
If you think about it, it's much like the juxtaposition that a lot of people like in porn that doesn't even involve farts, where they like to see somebody who's very innocent get really dirty.
Yeah, so she is getting fart dirty.
Yeah. It's, they like to see somebody that's like really cute and innocent doing something that's quote unquote taboo.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's pretty normal.
Yeah. I think this was like a pretty, like, I understand why they ended it the way they did. So, did you want to go into the other live action one we had from there?
Yes.
So I like to
I'm
give
trying to find,
props.
is this one square brackets SFM square bracket Overwatch Diva Passionate Sex?
No, this is Overwatch colon Diva's hardcore video.
Oh, sorry, yes, this was Overwatch Diva's hardcore video. Sorry, too many varying porns of varying names.
But I really like this one, not for, well, I don't know. I'm getting at that point where, when people have to work in the porn industry and nothing arouses them anymore.
Are you already getting desensitized to porn because of your work?
Yeah. So anyway, I appreciate this Princess Burple's effort because she green screens her into the player of the game screen.
She
which
put
is great.
Some effort into this.
And then, maybe that means that she also really did win a MVP player of the game match so that she could get that screen. I mean, she's bragging. I really did do this.
I was sad that player of the game, that there wasn't a more closely tied player of the game pun. Like, I was hoping for some kind of pun that was more like, player of the gay. I don't know, that's a really shit pun, but you get my point of, like, if they're doing the whole, like,
more
this
porn
is the
puns.
play of the game. Yeah, like, if this is play of the game, it's lay of the game. There you go.
That's good.
Lay of the game. Like,
yeah.
that took me, 20 seconds to think of.
But then she would have
creators.
to edit that screen. But I liked this because she really put the effort in. She said lines that Diva says. And then at the end, she blows a bubble. The same color as Diva's bubblegum in the game, and he comes on it.
He comes. That was the shot that made this worthwhile talking about for me. Was the
me too
the cum shot onto the bubblegum bubble.
So they're having sex, and she's saying all the things. Best part of the video, she has the correct color bubblegum, blows it into a bubble. Guy jacks off, comes on the bubblegum.
Isn't it just pink?
No, it's gray.
What?
Her bubblegum is gray.
Yeah, but Diva blows pink bubblegum.
Maybe. Alright, fine.
This
video sucks. The end doesn't work.
No. Mari, it just looks gray when it's stretched out.
Oh, okay.
Well, here's the thing. The colour for me was irrelevant. The fact that it was the bubblegum bubble and then the come onto it, I thought was a fantastic way to end. Also, hooray! First non-farting live-action porn we've done. So we get... Basically, we have... It's what, like 2 minutes or something long. We get a couple of shots of her sucking dick. It's a pretty good dick sucking going on.
Mm-hmm. And she's using... I'm pretty sure she's using a bad dragon dildo. It seems
she
like
definitely does seem to be.
It looks like... Hold on, let me make this full screen. Enhance. That's a bad dragon dildo. It's from Bad Dragon. I can sense it. I feel it.
So yeah, there's a bit of her sort of like she's sucking dick while she's having a go with this Bad Dragon dildo, and then it very quickly swaps around to her. I think in the cowgirl position, riding that dick. There's a lot of quick shot changes.
No, she goes reverse cowgirl, then cowgirl.
Reverse.
Yeah, the reverse cowgirl one is cool because you get to see like full like it actually like it's Diva, like a real person. You know what I mean? I thought that was kind of cool.
And then the ripped. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like, usually in porn you want to see the person naked, but in video game porn, you want them in the outfit.
Yes, I agree.
Because otherwise you don't really know it's them.
Oh,
but
God.
you do.
This is now making me think of one of the most disappointing live-action porns I ever watched, which was Mighty Muffin Pounder Rangers, which was a Power Rangers porn. And when they get to the porn, they take off all of the Power Ranger gear and put it to one side on the floor. And I'm like, no, wear the fucking stuff while you fuck.
No, you take out the boob part.
Point.
You take out the boob part. You take off the penis part. You take off the butt. Like, you still wear it.
Yeah,
but
at the very least with the Power Rangers one, keep on your helmets. Keep your helmet on while you fuck. So yeah, there were lots of quips, lots of nice quick shot changes, lots of nice close-ups. I thought this was a really well-shot video. It's just a quick, here you go, here's some diva sex, out we go, done.
Yeah.
She didn't appear to be fucking like another Overwatch character, did she?
I think the other person is supposed to be, well, in real life, maybe her boyfriend or something. But it's like she's having sex with one of you, like a normal person.
There was a couple of videos we had on this list that were, you're fucking a normal person. It could be you. That was a theme that ran through like 2 or 3 of these.
Yeah. Did you guys want to get into some of the gay ones?
Oh yeah.
Should we start on the gay ones with Overwatch: The Brother Tales Part 1?
Yes.
Stacy did not know that they were in fact brothers.
No, no, because you told me the wrong ones.
I said
you said Soldier and Genji, and I was like, what? It's Genji and Hanzo.
Oops, sorry, wrong ones. Whatever. They're all brothers in some way. And by the fact that it says the brother tales, I think everybody can figure out this is incest porn, which is a shame because this is my favorite one.
I know,
hold on a second. Let me just on the side of the bar for Overwatch: The Brothers Tales Part 1, I'm watching the craziest advert for gay porn. It's just a dude ripping his shirt open and then yelling at the camera and then holding a pen up with his pecs. He's just screaming at the camera, just screaming as he's... Is this... Okay. Well, anyway, sorry, and Grand Fuck Auto. Sorry.
So, my I think what on earth was I going to say there? I've completely lost track. So yeah, it is incest. I very quickly was able to forget about that because these characters haven't had enough brotherly interaction on screen for me to lock into my head that they're related. Mm-hmm. It didn't super bother me in this case. I was able to very much put it aside that they were brothers.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like for me personally, I've seen a bunch of the shorter videos from Overwatch, but not to the point where I was watching this and couldn't get my head out of it, like you said. But I did feel really bad about it.
Hey guys, I'm gonna say something. I didn't feel bad about it, and I didn't feel bad about it. I knew. I didn't feel bad about it, and I didn't even push it out of my head.
I mean, maybe it's just the fact that I have siblings that are the same gender, and so I'm how would I feel if somebody, you know what I mean?
You know what? I think I read A Song of Ice and Fire too young, where I was like, twins, they have sex, sure, why not?
But once we get let's see, so putting out of our minds the incest part of it,
I won't.
This is, I mean, I really enjoyed this. And, from the first shot, I was like, oh, crap, I'm going to like this, aren't I? Because it shows them, holding each other in the kitchen.
Oh, my God. This is my favorite way to do... This is my favorite way to see porn done, which is, here's a bunch of sex shots with quick flashes of really lovely, tender loving to remind you that not only is this is fucking between people who are in love. And that's a thing I like.
This had excellent use of music and slow motion interspersed in there to make this seem really passionate and make them seem they really care about each other.
They were doing everything like in time with the swells and flows of the music. It seemed a lot more like romantic and a lot less like, you know, tense than choke fucking scenes usually are.
Yeah.
Well, because they are choke fucking. So
yeah, Hanzo is choking and fucking Genji. Yeah, it's oddly artsy and like tender for a choke fuck.
And then we get McCree in there too.
Oh god, yeah, no, I had to pause and stare at that because I couldn't work out whose body was where. Those were some intertwined dude bodies.
So Genji is on top of what's his face, getting his butt fucked, and then Hanzo is licking the dick as it's going into his butt.
Yep.
Yeah. I did want to have a bit of a criticism of the cum trails in this porn. They look like spider webs.
I feel like in a lot of source filmmaker videos, the cum is hard for people to make not look like that.
Well, wasn't it Lard Aardvark that mentioned that one of the programs that like a lot of people use for these, it makes anything white look like it's fluorescent glowing.
Yeah.
Because when we pointed out like the like glowing orb of semen in one of his videos, he was like, "Oh yeah, like the reason it looks like that is because XX. It's not like a thing that people do on purpose." Although
it must
I'm sure
be a shading thing or a lighting thing because the lighting. But you know what? I don't really mind because I've been watching video game porn for a while, so now I just auto-translate that to that is semen. And I think, I don't know, having it doesn't distract me, but I can see why I would distract others.
I really wish this one was longer.
Yeah, this is the only one that I finished and wished hadn't stopped. I just wanted it to keep going for a while. It does end very suddenly with just like, here is a still image of cum on the face.
Yeah.
Well, and what it seems like to me is that this is a collection, what I find a lot in these Pornhub videos, is it's a collection of GIFs they found and put together over videos. Over music. It's
quite possible. Like, you know what I feel was missing from this that would have been like, yeah, this is amazing? Go on a little bit longer, ending with like, here's the cum on the face, and then just a cuddle. And there's just like...
Yeah!
If there'd just been like 20 seconds of just tender cuddle, that would have been perfect.
Find a GIF of tender cuddling. Would have been great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely think that this one was just a collection of GIFs that they had found through the internet and put it together in a video, which is something they think that happens a lot.
Yeah, I think it was my favorite of the ones we watched for this in terms of like, yeah, I would have watched more of this.
Yeah, this one was definitely my favorite. But another one that I liked was the Soldier 69 and Genji's festive creamy event.
This was amazing for very different reasons.
Yes,
exactly. This was in no way attempting to be erotic, I don't think. Okay, before we start, like, when I say that this was not intended to be erotic, possibly, when the word fuck is said, they censor it. They censor the word fuck in a porn video. They bleep it. So, like, I'm not convinced that this was ever intended to be super sexy.
I think the reason they do that is because they're using all in-game lines.
I think it's lines, yeah.
Yeah, it's all in-game lines. So in order to imply that he's saying fuck, he bleeped it unnecessarily to make it seem he was saying fuck.
I was unsure. I didn't know if it was in-game lines or if it was people trying to recreate the in-game lines, because a couple of the lines sounded a bit odd. But if it's all in-game lines, that would probably explain it.
I think the reason that I found this so funny is because I assumed that these were all in-game lines, and that made it like even funnier to me.
We gotta explain what's happening in that.
Yes.
Soldier 69 and Genji, they're having sex, and Genji is giving it at first. Yeah, he's giving it at first. He's on top. and they're like, doing the thing. And then Genji's like, would you like to be, in my butt? And then Soldier 69 can't get a boner because he's out of Viagra. And then Genji gives him a huge bottle of Viagra. And then they just have insane anal sex. That's
and
a lot
also
of limbs
like
everywhere.
The animations on this, like some of like their hand movements are fucking hilarious.
Oh god, like, yeah, it is bizarre, contorted, like things clip through each other or bend in impossible angles, and it's just kind of played for laughs. I think the fact that like most of this was so fast-paced and intended to be humorous, it didn't really matter that some of it was really wonky and janky.
Yeah, and then there's also this like really funny like squeak sound effect when he runs his hand over Genji's ass.
The leather squeak. I just enjoyed a bunch of the lines. Like I just kept writing down lines that I liked. My favorite might be, "I do what I must." It's just like all of these lines were just like so seriously put across, and I was like, oh, I love these. You got to move this payload.
Oh yeah, you gotta move this payload.
Gotta move this payload.
And then there's also when they get like really crazy and he like, I don't know, takes the whole bottle of Viagra or something, the camera like shakes all over the place and he actually blows Genji across the room.
Oh my god. I like the bit where they switch positions and when Genji gets slammed down on the table, the first thing he says is, "This is my home now." Yeah. I'm like, oh, good on you for knowing your place in that relationship, I suppose.
That's like such a sex thing that people would say.
No, that they're having a weird 69 and then they explode and Genji, dripping in cum, gets launched across the room and hits a gong and falls to the floor. It's... I don't know how to describe this other than frantically and quickly, because that's what this video was.
Yeah, I mean, it is very amusing to watch, though, and I would be very curious to know if it's all just in-game lines that people, like, clip together to kind of make a dialogue story. Because that's what it seemed like to me, but I can't say for sure.
It does feel like that. And then it seemingly sets up a sequel that I don't think yet exists, where Anna glitches into the room and tells them that, she's got to show them how it's done.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you better leave it to the experts.
Yeah, better leave it to the expert. Anna knows what's up. But that, I'm tired even thinking about that one.
Because it's so fast-paced.
Yeah, there's so much going on so quickly that it is exhausting to try and remember it all.
Yeah, I feel like this is one of the... So for most of these, what I do is I watch them and I take a bunch of notes. And for that one, I actually have pretty much no notes because there was just so much happening that I was like, I'm going to have to just watch this as we talk about it.
I'm the only one here who doesn't take notes. I just masturbate like a normal person.
So,
not everybody masturbates.
I'm sorry, Stacey.
It's okay.
I watched this one 3 times. I watched it once at standard speed, once pausing to take notes, and then back at full speed again. So, I was like, I've got to make sure that I get the intended pacing of this while catching all the bizarre shit going on.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Overwatch the Fallen Esports Goddess by Opiu Mood?
I was going to suggest we leave this to last, but if you want to do it now, we can do it now.
No, we can do it last.
I feel like it might be an interesting finale to our week.
Yeah, I think so.
So what have we got left undone? We've not yet done... Oh, we've not done Overwatch Diva Passionate Sex, have we?
Mm-mm. So I think that's the last one before...
Yeah.
The
Falling Esports Star.
So... This one starts off as point of view from...
Did you guys also notice that, 4 out of 6 of the ones that we're doing involve Diva?
Yeah, no, Diva's in a bunch of them.
Yeah.
I couldn't find any ones that, actually had any sort of context to them that were about, anyone else. So
yeah, no, like the brothers one is in there purely because it's like, let's try and find some nice, let's try and find some male on male. Like, there's very limited selection of pairings on Pornhub for Overwatch porn.
One thing I do like about the character model people use for Mei porn is that she's like chunky, and I'm like, hey, I look like that.
In some of them, yeah, but in others, there are some skinny Meis.
Oh, I've never seen a skinny Mei. I've only seen chunky Meis.
In that FAP of the Game one that was like 20 minutes and a bit too long to discuss here, there were actually chunky and skinny Meis within that video.
I must say,
I need consistency with my Meis.
Exactly. I personally have a preference for chunky Mei, but to each their own.
I like the chunky Mei model because A, it's different, and B, I'm like, I look like that, and I like how I look. I'm gonna masturbate to myself.
Exactly. There's some nice, jiggles and things going on. It's great. So yeah, this is another one of those ones where the person that Diva's having sex with is just generic man. That I don't think is ever implied to be any character. Exactly.
But I like
could
the
be
design.
You, she's fucking.
I like the design of the room because it seems like a 20-year-old's room. Where
this is
it's
definitely,
a fan and...
Yeah, this is definitely meant to be a 20-year-old Overwatch player in their bedroom, and then Diva comes to life and fucks them.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Because Diva loves them.
Yeah,
they're in
Diva
love.
Does love them. They are in love. As shown off by that nice kiss of the screen during the POV shot. That I'm a fan of that kiss the screen and POV. That's quite nice.
Yeah, I like that.
I enjoy the design of her costume because she's wearing the costume, but it's like well cut where it still has the 3D modeling of her different suit parts, but her boobs, her butt, and vagina are exposed.
She's got her bits out.
Yeah, but it follows the lines of her suit so that it makes sense.
Yeah, they don't just crop it like directly around those parts. They're like, no, let's look for natural points in the fabric to have this make sense, which is nice.
Mm-hmm. I like it.
So they switch from POV to a sort of side shot view where she does some sucking of a big, huge dick. Has to stop a couple of times to breathe, which is, go realism. Make sure to remember to breathe when you're sucking dick.
I just want to point out that there is some vaporwave art in the background.
Yes, there is.
There's vaporwave art in the background that's like distinctly vaporwave. So maybe somebody on Tumblr made this.
It wouldn't surprise me at all. So she ends up like switching and riding the dick, and I really like the little gasp she does as she's sliding on.
Oh yeah, that's a relatable moment.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that was a big dick. And it's like, okay, that's nice. That little moment of shock of just like, I didn't expect this dick, even though I was climbing up onto it.
Her vocals in this like weird me out because there were parts of it that sound like really childlike to me, and I know that she's young and that she has like a higher voice, but it just like because there's like no dialogue of her actually saying anything, it's just like I don't know.
Yeah, but Stacey, I have a little tiny baby voice.
I would have agreed with you. I would have maybe agreed with you until we watched the esports one. And her voice is so, oh god, it's so high-pitched and childish in that I completely forgot about any criticisms I had of her voice here. So they do the move where like they're still, penetrative, and she gets flipped over onto her back with him still inside. Big fan of that old shot. That's
I like her face reaction when she does that, where she's surprised and smiles.
It's very pleasant surprise. It's like, oh, I was momentarily shocked, but now this is a good thing. Yay. Mm-hmm. She looks so happy so many times in this. Like, my favorite thing is she looks so happy at the end when, like, generic face man finishes up and is coming. She looks so happy to be coming to. She's just like, yeah, that was good. Thank you.
And I feel like that's like such a change because I feel like in a lot of the porn we've watched, people are often making faces of like concentration or like a pain. You know?
It is nice to just be like, she was just happy because she got fucked, and that's all there was to it.
I would like to point out there is that point where the dick is pushing her lower abdomen up. And I
didn't notice that.
Yeah, well, it's a thing that happens for realsies. I've seen it, but it's just like I always feel like, oh, you need to have this here just so that people know that this dick is huge because it's so big that it's
I guess
making her.
That's like, again, that's the difference between like if it happens in a real porn, it's real, but like if somebody puts it into a porn they're creating, that's a choice they made to animate it.
Well, she's at an angle where it would make sense because the dick is huge.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. The dick, it was so big, it displaced her organs. Isn't that erotic?
It was an uncomfortably large dick. There you go.
At least we didn't have that,
weird circle that expands.
Yeah.
Just a sphere that appears.
A gigantic sphere that appears in the stomach. Looking at you, Minecraft porn.
So, with that out of the way, do we want to talk about Overwatch, the Falling Esport Goddess by OP Mud?
I just want to say, if you're into... Okay, this has so much rape in it. If you're into rape, watch the whole thing. It's fine. If you're not, only watch the first 10 minutes.
I don't think it's even 10. I think it's 7.
Okay, well, the storyline before the sex starts is so, like, amazing, like, in a stupid way. I love it. So it's happening...
I was going to say, I will very quickly summarize, like, the 15 minutes that we might well skip over. It might be worth just summarizing now, like, what sort of content is in that last 15 minutes. That last 15 minutes does involve Diva getting drugged, unconsensual sex happening with multiple people, the sex being live streamed without her consent. That's, I think, the big 3. So, like... We can talk about the quality of that at the end if people want, but it is...
I just want to have one episode where we don't have anyone get raped. So
I would be comfortable with... Yeah, I'd be comfortable with skipping it just because I feel like... I don't even know what I would contribute to that discussion.
No. I think the only other thing I would add to that then is a bunch of the sex is involving human people that are not Overwatch characters, which is an interesting, odd, weird choice. But... Yeah, should we just talk about the 10 minutes of this that is weird as fuck story that I don't know how anyone thought was the setup for porn?
I think it's just great because, okay, so I think it's kind of cool. It's like in this Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, not themed, but it's like a Yu-Gi-Oh! Stadium in that they're playing StarCraft against each other. One is a 14-year-old esports prodigy, and I'm pretty sure Diva was once an esports prodigy as well, and then she became a member of Overwatch. So then they're fighting against each other, and they summon like digitized versions of StarCraft 2 things. So it's like the Swarm versus Terran, and they're like floating around the battlefield, and they're fighting each other, and people are cheering, and then I'm kind
of disappointed that Diva represents Terran. That's bullshit.
That is bullshit.
Terrans are for losers!
So they're fighting, and then Black Widow comes, and she is like, blue, 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 terrible accent, horrible voice acting, I need to kill this 14-year-old because they're afraid he's going to grow up to be in Overwatch just like Diva. And then, of course, she shoots him. He survives. She's like, no, why did this happen? And then the Punisher guy comes, and he shoots him. Reaper fucking dead. And Diva's like, no, why? And she's like chasing him. And Reaper goes, you'll never understand the pain of my past. And then jumps. It's so great.
It's so, like... delightfully edgelord. He's like, you'll never understand, and like jumps away.
So much of this feels like weird, like self-insert wish fulfillment weirdness.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know who the human guy that she's playing StarCraft against is meant to be. In my head, I was just looking at that character being like, are you the person who made this porn?
Yeah, me too.
That's my assumption, is that this is the porn story of, like, this guy inserted himself into, I'm at the StarCraft/Yu-Gi-Oh! World Finals with D.Va, and then I almost get killed by Widowmaker, but then D.Va saves me, and D.Va has to go through all these things, but she does so because she saves me at the StarCraft Finals, because I'm a programmer, but I'm also really good at StarCraft.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's... I don't understand how this was a necessary setup for sex.
I think he just wanted to do it. It's not like whoever made this just wanted to have a cool story.
Yeah. They just wanted a cool story about them eventually getting to maybe bang.
Yeah,
with,
like what's the
D.Va.
difference between, I mean, people write erotic fan fictions with a lot of build up.
The person who I assumed is a self-insert never gets to fuck D.Va.
But I think that the point in this one is more the humiliation aspect. I think that's what it's about.
Well, whoever made this,
sense.
They care about their craft, I would say. They liked what they did. I thought the stadium with the StarCraft shit was cool. I thought it was
cool. I didn't understand why it was happening, but I thought it was cool.
I liked it. I just liked it, man. I was just having a good time.
I will be sharing this with other people and telling them to probably switch off after 10 minutes, but, you know, I will definitely share this with others.
I'll be real. I watched the later parts and enjoyed myself, but I also understand that other people wouldn't, so I just don't feel like talking about it.
I watched it, and I was mainly just like, this is... I get why people would like it. It just came off creepy and, like, extendedly longer than I wanted to see it.
Yeah.
But, you know, if...
I like that kind of stuff, but I understand why other people wouldn't, so...
Yeah. That's fair. If you're enjoying it 10 minutes in and you're okay with the things that I mentioned earlier, keep watching if that's what you'd like to do. So, yeah, is that us done for Overwatch porn this week?
I know. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. And this is like obviously no fault of ours looking for these, but I wish we'd had a little bit more variety.
Yeah.
Pairs. I mean, we didn't cover this one, but the FAP of the game kind of has like short clips of like a lot of different pairs, but it's pretty much all heterosexual pairs.
Yeah. It's all very short clips that have no continuity one to the next, and would have been a lot of disparate conversations without much unifying them.
I do like some of the themes of the pairs in that Black Widow seems to usually be the person who's shoving another woman's face on a cock. That seems to make sense to me. Where I'm like, yeah, Black Widow would do that, and also that's hot. I like it.
I think what was disappointing to me was I was the one that suggested Overwatch, I think, because we were looking for something specifically with like male pairings, because we hadn't really done any of that. I was like, Overwatch, of course, you know, there's so many characters, and I've seen still image art of so many of them fucking each other in varying forms. You know, I'll go on Pornhub, I'll be able to find absolutely any pairing that I should look for. And it was surprisingly difficult to find specific pairings, and even sometimes specific characters. Like, my first instinct when looking for male Overwatch was, I was like, let's get some nice Junkrat Roadhog. You know, that's a nice wholesome pairing.
There is a short clip of them in Gay Overwatch.
Yes, there is.
But it's like 10 seconds.
You have to watch a lot of Gay Overwatch to get to that isolated clip.
Yeah.
It was hard to find specific videos that were dedicated to those pairings, which was really shocking to me.
I know. There seemed to be people like more like, here's a bunch of like short clips of things happening, but not, you know, here's a 10-minute video with exposition and 2 characters or more, and they're gonna do things, and you know, it was more like, oh, here's like a video of clips that I created just, you know, for fun. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean, yeah.
Which, it's not like there's anything wrong with that, but I don't know, we were spoiled.
We got too used to, you know, a certain quality of showings, and now we're like, oh no, damn you, Overwatch, you didn't give us exactly what we expected. How dare you?
Where's the storyline?
Yeah, where's
my storyline?
Yeah, where is our weird story of, like, you know, a YouTuber that has to make a porn video because they forgot to have a script that day? Where's our setup?
Where's the setup? Where's the conclusion? Who are these people? Where is there character growth? I don't know, because
is there
going to
be another episode? How do we know? Because I'm left with so many questions.
People were like, "Where's episode 3 of Blue Star? I'm invested." Like,
I know. I'm invested. If Blue Star gets a 3rd episode, we are talking about it. That's happening.
Oh yeah,
I like Blue Star.
I know. I already told Lord Aardvark to give us a heads up.
Like, can we get
the story?
If you're listening, Lord Aardvark, can we please get the exclusive review pre-launch so we can talk about it like a day before it comes out?
Yeah, can we get review codes? Can we get press copies?
God, I would love to get a press copy of the next Blue Star chapter.
That would be amazing.
I want to know what happens next. Like, from what he's told us of the storyline he has, I'm like, this is good. This is good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I am so excited for, like, us to reach the point where we get review copies of video game porn. I am so ready for that. So is this a good point for us to wrap up and do some self-promotion and stuff?
Yes.
Brazzers, if you want us to cover any of your video game stuff, send it to us for free.
Hit us up. We'll totally do, like, a Brazzers special or something.
We need, like, a sponsor for this show, but, like, nobody wants a sponsor for us. So if Brazzers or, like, a dildo company wants to do it,
oh my god. Yes.
Is that... Oh, okay, actually, dildo companies is fine. Porn companies might be a conflict of interest for our reviews show.
Oh,
but I think a dildo company would be good.
Like a sex company, Bad Dragon, you want us to... talk about that?
Yeah, we gave you some free promo this week. Do you want to, you know, give us some dildos, maybe? AdamandEve.com, BDSMrestraints.com. I don't know. Somebody.
Something,
please.
Send us
all the money and sex toys.
Send us all the sex toys and money. Mari, where are you on the internet?
At Geek Remix on Twitter, Instagram, and Tumblr. Feel free to contact me on any of those to talk about promotions for your sex website. Just saying.
Sorry. Do I keep doing it?
I just figure, like, this is gonna be a popular show. I can feel it, and we could. I want sponsorships, man.
You say that
we
like
gotta lock
those
sponsors.
already.
No, it's like we have these sponsors. They need to lock themselves in now before we get way too many requests. We can only choose so many, you know.
Yeah,
exactly.
Stacey, where are you on the internet?
You can find me at Geek Remix a lot on Twitter, Instagram, and Tumblr.
Woo! And I'm Laura K. Buzz pretty much everywhere. Twitter, YouTube. The big one is Patreon. That's what pays the bills. Thank you for listening. We'll have another one of these soon.
Whoa.
But,
just another thing for the sponsors. Just in case you're wondering, YouTube ad revenue is total shit. So Stacey and we're desperate. We're desperate. Please.
You could get
we'll do anything. Deal. You will we're desperate. We're like those videos where it's like, desperate woman needs money. Like, that's us. Okay, alright, bye.
Bye.
Sorry.
Bye.